Devil's Advocate. Have you seen it? I like that movie. I don't know how y'all feel about it. It stars Keanu Reeves, the great Charlize Theron, even though she takes some questionable roles from time to time, and my man Al Pacino. That's my guy. He plays the devil. Now, he is in charge of a bunch of lawyers, and they got their hands into everything, and they got dirt on people where they can manipulate people. They're keeping people locked up who should be free. They're setting people free who should be locked up. It's a great job for the devil to be in charge of all that. That was in the late 90s, all right? That movie came out. Fast forward to today, I think a great job for the devil, even better than that one, would be in media. Media. Control the narratives, control truth, really. I think that every time we go onto our screens, we get on social media, I can imagine, like maybe in the spiritual realm, a spray of vomit smacking us in the face. A spray of vomit just kind of, that's gross, I know. But spray of vomit's chunky too. Spray of vomit, and it's a vomit of information. Now, you know that information in and of itself is not truth. You know, even if that information is factual, you have to take that information and process it, understand it, then maybe you have the truth and you can do something with it, right? Our problem is that we take that information, any information, as truth itself, and then we're just kind of believing a lie, you know? And there aren't enough, unfortunately, truth seekers, lack of a better term, around to process the truth. You gotta cook. You gotta cook the information for it to be truth. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in the absence of truth seekers, lies are gonna rule the day. It is what it is. I look at the imagery that Jesus has of Satan being the father of lies, and I think about him kind of, you know, sowing his seed in all kinds of people all around the world. And then that child growing up, he's cultivating it, and then it's just like out of their chest, like alien, bursting out of their chest, the lie that's been cultivated, and now he's just manipulating all kinds of things. These are the things that go through my mind, okay? And it's kind of how it is. It's gross, but it's kind of how it is. When it comes to information and truth, lies. I'm reading here in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verses 31 through 47. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I think I've read it before, but I want to point something else out this time. So I'll just kind of recap. Now the scripture starts off in verse 31 with, the Jews who have believed on Jesus. It's important because they believe on Jesus. They're following Jesus, okay? So it's after this, Jesus goes through his whole message of the truth will set you free. The truth that is himself will set you free, okay? Talked about that before. But how those Jews who believed on Jesus respond is, Jesus, look, we're not bound to anyone. How can you say we'll be made free? You know, we are Abraham's descendants. You know Abraham, Father Abraham? You might have heard of him. So Jesus is like, you know, I've heard of Abraham. But the problem is, if you were his descendants, you do what he did. All right? I came from God. I'm giving you the truth, and yet you're seeking to kill me, which they do seek to do in a couple moments later. And he says, you're doing the will of your father. You're not like Abraham. So then they're mad, right? Of course they're mad. It's like, what? This Jesus guy, all right? Look, we are Abraham's descendants. Like I said, we are the Jews, the chosen people of God. We only have one father, and that father is God. What are you talking about, Jesus? So then Jesus says this. I will read this, verse 42. If God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God, and now I'm here. I have not come on my own, but he sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I say. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there's no truth in him. When he lies, he's just speaking his native language, for he is a liar, the father of lies. Yet because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me. Can any one of you prove me guilty of sin? If I am telling the truth, why don't you believe me? He who belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. Yikes. The whole thing's good. Check that out. But I want to talk a little bit about the puppet master. In this context, Satan. All right? So every time that we believe a lie, it's kind of like we get a string tied to us. Every single time. So every time we are, whether it's social media or just talking to somebody or read a book or anything, that we believe, we take it onto our lives, and it's a lie. It's like Satan tying a string around us, all right? And then he can just control us, manipulate us all over the place, right? Even if you're a person who doesn't believe, if you're not a Christian, or if you are a Christian and you just don't believe in Satan, I think you would agree with me that if you're believing a lie and living that lie out, that you can be easily manipulated. So that's what's going on with the enemy. There's a lot of lies out there, people. And I thank God, myself and being a Christian, that I hear God, I understand God, and at least I'm capable of hearing and understanding him to be free. Because like when Jesus was talking about the truth will set you free, it's kind of like him coming and cutting all those strings. Now you're free to worship and serve God, and you can't be manipulated if you're fully given to God. So I thank God for that. And I hope and I pray for all of us that we will be people who hear the truth, can understand the truth. Because honestly, people, being able to hear God, honestly, being able to understand the truth in these times where there's so many sprays and streams of vomit of information, it is our only chance to make it. It's gross.